Guys, welcome back to the range. I wanted to do a video for you real quick to answer something that came to mind in a conversation the other day. I was talking with a friend and they were asking me about fearful behaviors when dealing with, they knew I used to be a cop, fearful behaviors when dealing with criminals. And I said something to them that kind of came to mind, and I made a notation in my phone for you guys. There's living fearfully, and then there's being concerned about the behaviors of a fearful person. Fearful people do cowardly things. Criminals are not brave. They're just willing. They're willing to act out their angers, their frustrations, their fears on society. They're not brave. Brave people are those who see evil attacking and then they step into the fight. There's a difference. This is kind of a twofold thing, because when friends and family challenge me, well, why do you always wear a gun? What are you afraid of? I'm not afraid of anything. And I always jokingly, I say this to diffuse the moment. I say I wear a gun for the same reason we all wear underwear, just in case. What I'm really talking about is I wear a gun just in case evil comes looking for blood, and then I have the ability to push back. That is a moment that each of us has to come to in our own lives, where we say, I will not go into a restaurant without my gun on me. I will not go to church without my gun on me. I will not put myself in a position where I'm around friends and family and evil walks in the door and I see it coming and I have no ability to do anything about it except wade into the fight knowing I'm going to die, trying to be a block between my family, the bad guy, and I get in between, hoping that there's a sheepdog in the restaurant or in the church that actually went through the trouble and inconvenienced their lives and wore a gun that day. That is why I'm wearing a Modelo t-shirt. Not because I drink Modelo, well, sometimes I do, but because I'm trying to hide in plain sight. I'm trying to do everything I can to be the guy that can walk through, because I'm 6'4", guys. I'm kind of hard to miss. So I'm trying to be the guy that can walk through a space and have people glance at me and go, whatever. Instead of the guy who's rolling around in tactical wear with all kinds of tactical junk on their shirt and the demeanor and the glasses and the look and the hat and the da-da-da-da-da that says, shoot me first, because bad guys aren't stupid. Remember, they don't have to be the most dialed in person to see you coming if you're telegraphing, I have a gun on me. And the people who wear a lot of the tactical junk that's out there are trying to wear their perception of who they think they are on their sleeve. And yesterday I was talking with a friend and I was telling her, it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and I'll put it here on the screen for you guys to look at. Dunning and Kruger were two social scientists, I think it was, and they did a series of experiments and you're welcome to read this stuff on your own. I'm not going to put the whole thing on the screen, but basically what it really boils down to is we are really good at convincing ourselves that we're better at whatever discipline than we actually are. And everyone, me included, the reason for that is social media has done a bang-up job of convincing the mind that if you see a technique being done by someone, that you can do it too. Because believe me, there are certain things, certain disciplines that I see people doing that I'm like, yeah, I could do that. And then I go, no, you can't, Abner. No, you can't do that. Fill in the blank, whatever that may be. So I come out here and I put in the work. I think I caught a bullet fragment. I come out here and I put in the work and I catch bullet fragments. And I learn my abilities and my inabilities. And I focus on turning an inability into an ability. I learn my limitations. I don't get into perfect stances. Sometimes I do weird sweeps of my leg because I'm 6'4", so when I do a rotation, sometimes I'll fire and you'll see me do this with my support leg because I'm trying to lower my center of gravity when I swing, and yes, I am muzzling the camera. It's okay, don't get in the comment section. Hot pockets! The rotation, I'm trying to stay in contact with the ground, so sometimes my shooting stance is going to be this crack that you see going on here. But that's the reality of the world that we live in. When you're talking about 360, there is no such thing as a shooting stance, which is why when you're doing shooting on the move, movement training, you may have to fire here, you may have to fire here. So there is no such thing as a fighting stance for choosing when to fire. If you're moving and shooting, you may have to shoot when your left foot is forward or when your right foot is forward. So training as asymmetrically as possible is the way to do it. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you. This access came to me through a friend from church. He and I went to the same Bible study class together, and he reached out to me one day and he said, "Hey, I hear we have the same hobby." And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm sure we do. Mr. I drive a Tesla. This is before I knew the man. Now that I've gotten to know the man, he is absolute salt of the earth. And I had put him in a box because of the car that he drove. Because I had assumed that I knew who he was. So I'm going to say to you, start reaching out in your church. Start figuring out who's got land. Now the funny thing is, you can usually go in the parking lot and you can figure out who's who somewhat from the stickers on their vehicle. So start figuring out who's the guy with the 6-hour sticker and the Glock sticker and the "Don't Tread on Me" tag. Find these people in your church, identify who they are, approach them and say, "Hey, listen, I'm a fellow brother in Christ. I'm also a fellow brother in 2A. And you're probably going to find somebody who's got land. And if you've got knowledge and they've got land, you guys just made a union. You guys just made a connection. Now, that person who has land and you have knowledge, he's going to trade access to that land for access to your knowledge. Start working with one another. That's how I got access to this out here. And I just finished mowing this today, and I was driving up the hill with the mower, and I ran into the owner of the property up at the top. And we sat in his truck and talked for a little bit. And guys, there are so many patriots around you that are willing to work with you to give you access to things. I know that this video kind of went off on a tangent, but guys, you know this. This channel is not your typical gun channel. I'm here to give you truth in the most undistilled manner possible. I'm not offering training anymore, so please don't reach out to me asking for training, because the only people who come here anymore are friends and family. That's it. I don't offer professional training classes. I make better money making slings for you guys by hand than I ever did offering training, because there's so much time that goes into running a training class, whereas sitting at a table and producing slings, handmade slings, not on a sewing machine, but actually hand sewing the slings for you guys. I make better money doing that than I ever did doing this. But guys, I still do this for friends and family because I have a passion to share that moment where a person picks up their firearm and they look at a target. This target out here is roughly 25-ish yards, and they look at the target and I go, "Now focus and make sure your optic is dead center," and pull the trigger. And that literally hit dead center of his chest while I was talking to you guys. That one's slightly low right. And the moment where they go, "Wow, I just hit," and I go, "Yes, you did." And you just created a new neural pathway within 300 milliseconds of witnessing the hit, which is seeing, feeling, and hearing the hit. Your brain creates a new neural pathway and labels it success. And the next time that you ask your body to do this thing right here, the body goes, "Oh, I know what the solution is because I did it earlier. So now I can reproduce it, and reproduce it, and reproduce it, and reproduce it." Guys, there's a community around you. You just don't realize it's there. I promise you it's there. Now that's for most people who live in parts of the country where they're not living in the middle of a city. If you're living in the middle of the city, fix the problem. But for the rest of us who live in places that have land like this, I promise you, you go to church with someone who owns this. So reach out to them. As always, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for your support of Tier 1 Citizen that keeps this channel independent of basically of corporate meddling. You guys have no idea how often I turn down corporate emails asking me to push tactical lights, lasers, optics, attire, blah, 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 blah. And I just ignore all that garbage. But I've made mental notes of it, and I read these emails. It is shameful. It is shameful, and yet their behavior is shameless. They don't care about truth. All they want is a certain amount of posts saying swell things about their crap, so you guys go and buy them. And guys, I go to training, And I see people running stuff that I see on Instagram, and I go, wow, that's garbage. Do they not know it's garbage? And then halfway through the class, the optic, the light, whatever, fails. And then they realize that paying 50 bucks for a light and $100 for an optic is probably a bad idea. You should be paying $300 for a light and $800 for an optic. Surefire, Trijicon, or Aimpoint for your optic. That's what I do. Guys, that's what I do. People don't send me stuff for free. The only company that sends me optics for free is Trijicon. And guess what? This is a Trijicon, but I paid for this one because the other one they sent me is on another handgun, and I loved it so much, I bought myself more RMRs because I like them. I really, really like the product. And by the way, this is the only corporate support that I get, is occasionally, and the last time I asked for an optic from Trijicon was 2 years ago? 3 years ago. No, 3 years ago. The last time I asked for optic support from Trijicon was 3 years ago. Since then, I've bought 2 other Trijicon optics out of pocket because I like the product that much. So understand, guys, this channel is independent. That's what I got for you guys. I thank you once again for your support of this channel. It keeps it independent. It keeps it free from corporate meddling. Sling, stickers, pull tags, it's all on the website, tier1citizen.com. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.